Hi everyone, and get in nerds. I'm Tim, and today we are going to have a chat about Series 6, Episode 1 of The Crown. Now, I just finished watching it, and it's actually it's pretty good. Some ups, some downs. Compared to the earlier series, I'm hopeful. Got some bits to talk about. Quick 20-second plot summary. Basically, Diana's looking for a role of some kind in the government, probably something around landmines, to the reduction of them. She meets Tony and Sherry Blair at the beginning, which is, this is okay. After that, she leaves the country with William and Harry and goes to Mohammed Al-Fayed's villa / yacht in the Med. Because it's Camilla's 50th birthday and Charles is throwing her a party. And there's a lot of politics and backstabbing along the way. And that's basically the plot. Now, there are, with everything, 5 good points, 5 bad points. We'll start with the good. The boys, William and Harry's actors, whose names I haven't learned and don't care to, but they're really, really good actors, actually. They play the parts really well. They bounce off of each other really nicely. They seem to have a genuine affection for the woman playing Diana. Again, I know it's acting, but it actually feels really family-like, and the way that they talk to each other, especially in a scene on a private jet, it's just really, really nice. Number 2, it's The Crown. So it's beautifully shot, wonderfully edited. It's like a musical piece, beginning to end. It's just a really nicely put together story. You don't see that everywhere anymore. But this is really good British drama, shot perfectly, and it's a really nice place to be, if you've got an hour to spare. The part where Diana goes to the Med is beautiful. Again, they picked great locations for it. The sets that they built for the yachts and for the villa are stunning. You can tell that a lot of thought was put into how to lay the places out so that it told the story and showed the majesty of the place. It's a really nice part of the world. And I think setting this episode there, especially with what happened later, it was just really perfect. And I don't know how much of it is exactly where those things happened, or if those things happened at all. I'm not old enough to remember the history. But if they did, and it was roughly in these sorts of places, they picked a really good spot for it. Towards the end of the episode, there is a beautifully touching conversation between Charles and the Queen, where she kind of half gives her approval of Camilla after not giving it earlier. And the scene and the dialogue backwards and forwards and the tone of the piece is perfect. And it was a really nice little package that we could show and say, this is what The Crown is. And yeah, it was really nice. And lastly, the actress playing Diana is amazing. She's really good. She pulls off the demure but fun and interesting, and you can tell there's a lot going on behind the eyes. That look that Diana had. It's one of my first proper memories is of Diana dying. It was a big story in the UK, and what I learned about her afterwards was, and watching bits of video of her, it's really accurate to what she was like, and it's a really nice piece. So, 5 bad points. The actress they got playing the Queen, who was Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter, so I might have some residual resentment from that. At the beginning of the episode, when Charles goes to her and asks her to come to Camilla's birthday party, she's really dismissive, and she spent more time focusing on the dog, and there was quite a lot of Umbridge actually, in the way that she was behaving. And it's a really stark contrast to what I was talking about before with the call at the end, where she seems a lot warmer, and it was a big shift, and I think it was a bit of a jarring shift. And in fact, she spent all her time looking after her dog while Charles was there, obviously asking for his mother's approval. It kind of hurt to watch, and maybe that's on purpose, and it did its job if it was, but I didn't like it very much. I missed it. Point number 2, the clingy, jealous fiance of Dodi Al-Fayed. I think the actress overplayed it a little. I can't imagine that's what it was really like. It seemed very hallmarky, bit sort of cheesy, really bunny boiling. I didn't get it. Given that she'd probably only in this one episode, I think they overplayed her and made her a lot more aggressive than she needed to be. I don't think that helps the story at all. On the topic of the Al-Fayeds, the portrayal of Mohammed Al-Fayed wasn't great. And he came across as weaselly and disingenuous and conniving and conspiratorial in a way that no real person really is outside of the CIA or Mossad Black Ops. And I didn't get why they went so hard with it. I mean, maybe he was, but the bits I've seen of him in the news or in interviews since, it doesn't seem like that kind of person, and it feels like that was done on purpose to force the point. And if it was, I just think it's overplayed. I think, I didn't get it, and I think that it was unnecessary. They could have got to that story 6 or 7 different other ways that would have been more interesting, and they could have been more subtle about it. It seemed very aggressive, actively avoiding proper spoilers at this point. But I didn't get it at all. Number 4, it's a lot slower, actually. At the beginning of the other series have been a bit faster and things have happened, and I think it was, it just feels like a lot happened, but not a lot happened. I feel like it just didn't feel like it got into first gear properly. I don't know. Just, it's not quite right. I can't put my finger on it. I'm hoping that they're just saving the best for later. That would be great. And number 5, the Tony and Cherie Blair scene at the beginning wasn't good at all. It felt awkward, and it felt like someone just reading lines off a piece of paper. They didn't seem to really gel with each other. It felt like they were voiceover actors that were never in the same room, even though you could see they were stood next to each other. I don't know, it's just something wasn't right about it. But again, hopefully that picks up as the time goes on. I know that the story takes a bit of a turn in the next couple of episodes. So hopefully it picks up and it's a bit better. But with those 2 actors, it just felt like they didn't like each other much, which I don't think was true of the Blairs. Okay, so that was the 5 good points, 5 bad points for this episode. It wasn't a bad episode by any means. I think that some things could have been done better. I think that it's all writing and story rather than technical cinematography. Even the acting, for the most part, was really good. It just felt like they didn't have a lot to work with, and they were trying to overact to fill some sort of caricature of each of the characters. Dodi Al-Fayed seemed like a South Park character at some points, the way he ended, like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. It felt very over the top. Maybe that's because they're trying to tell a story really quickly, and try and tell like the whole Dodi and Diana thing from like beginning to end in 2.5 episodes. Feels like that could have gone on for a lot longer. They could have been more subtle with the storytelling. I don't know, but it didn't feel right to me. I have a question for this episode, and I'm looking forward to your answers below. Why did it have to be a battle of the front pages between Charles and Diana? You know, he divorced her, but for some reason he's upset that she's getting good coverage in the papers, and it just felt, again, it's another forced piece. It's like Winston, there's a scene where he's at that table. He looks like Winston Churchill standing at the table with the newspapers spread around him going, why is she getting better coverage than me? And really, I mean, it may have been like that. Again, I don't know. I wasn't in the room, but it doesn't feel like that's the sort of thing that Charles would do. And it doesn't feel right to the story either. It's not, there was no need for it to be a battle of the front pages. You know, you wanted rid of Diana, she's rid, and people like her, and they like you, and I guess it's just for the woman he loved. But again, it's just all caricature. It's all overacting. And I don't understand it, because it was a lot. The Crown in the first two series certainly was a lot subtler than it's being now. And it feels to have a real, almost anti-monarchy skew to it in this last couple of series. Which, given you're making a story about the monarchy, feels counterintuitive, let's say. And I'm hoping that they become a bit more, that they start behaving a bit fairer, actually, from a storytelling point of view, and they actually start treating them with some of the respect that they do deserve. Trophies, because, you know, every episode gets a trophy. Charles's speech at the birthday party is magnificent, actually. And he does it really well. He comes across very Charles, much more so than in the other scenes we were just talking about. And the way he emotes in that, in the whole birthday party scene, actually, you can tell that it's a person that's been holding back, who's able to be himself. I think that's referenced in the phone call later, but it does feel that way. But that's really it. Yeah, it's an hour. It was a good hour. I'm hoping that the next, I think there's 3 more in this part of the series that they've released. I'm going to try and release videos on those rapidly from here. It's pretty good, I think. No, massive spoiler alert, but there is a scene of spoiler alert, but it opens on the crash, and then it goes back 8 weeks. I don't think it needed to do that. I don't think there's anyone watching The Crown that doesn't know what happened to Diana. She wasn't referenced at all in the scene with the crash. It was just, there was a crash, and now 8 weeks earlier. And I don't think it added anything of value other than to give you a pit in your stomach. And it wasn't necessary, but it would be better just to tell the story as it happened. The flashback, flash forward mechanic isn't suited to what they were trying to do with it. And I think that's my really big, I think that might put me on a downer for the rest of the episode, actually. And I might be being a bit more critical of it than I would otherwise be. But I felt that was really unnecessary, and they did it just to shock. It did. But that's it for this review. I'll pick up the next one, hopefully over the next few days. Sorry, we're not in the van. The weather is not right for it. Please let me know your thoughts on the episode below. Get a like on the video if you can, and please subscribe to the channel. 94% of you aren't, so please do. And until next time, get in, nerds. We've got work to do.